The desert heat was the only thing I knew, but it felt like ice when the email hit. My lawyer's subject line was a single, chilling word: urgent. He wasn't wrong. The Homeowners Association had sold my house. The sand, a relentless, blinding ocean of brown, swirled around the Humvee, a cruel metaphor for my world turning upside down. A soldier in Iraq, fighting for a country that couldn't even protect my home from a suburban terrorist. Are you kidding me? My throat tightened, the dry air suddenly impossible to breathe. I thought back to the last time I saw it. The little craftsman bungalow on Hemlock Lane, the one I'd bought with my deployment bonus. The lawn was my pride, meticulously manicured, a patch of green sanity in a world of concrete and cubicles. Then came Carol. She was the Homeowners Association president, but she acted like the queen of a tiny, self-proclaimed kingdom. Her emails were legendary, filled with capital letters and passive-aggressive threats. The last one I got, before I shipped out, was about a single patch of brown grass near the driveway. Violation 734. It read, unkempt landscape, immediate fine of $500. I sighed, rubbing the bridge of my nose. Really, Carol? I had a friend, another veteran, set up to handle all my bills and check on the place. I wired the money to him, gave him explicit instructions. It was a no-brainer, or so I thought. A distant thud of a mortar round made me flinch, but the internal shock was 100 times worse. My phone buzzed again, this time a text from my lawyer. She refused the payment, said it wasn't from you directly, then started the foreclosure process. Used some obscure rule about abandonment. Abandonment? I was serving my country. Did she really just do that? The rage was a bitter taste in my mouth, like biting into a lemon. I wanted to scream, to punch something, but I was 7,000 miles away, powerless. The scent of diesel and dust filled the air. A sudden, deep loneliness washed over me. All I wanted was to go home. To my house. My home. And then the next email arrived. The one that explained everything. It wasn't just the $500. A developer had bought the empty lot 2 streets over and was planning a new, upscale community center. My little house, turned out, was sitting on a corner lot that would become a new access road. A prime piece of real estate. Carol wasn't just being petty. She was being greedy. The buyer, a shell corporation, had already offered her a significant consultant fee to smooth things over with the neighborhood. The twist? My lawyer, bless his heart, had uncovered it all. The shell company's registered address? The same as Carol's son-in-law's business. You've got to be kidding me. A cold, hard resolve set in. The days felt longer, the nights colder, but I had a new mission. I was going home to get my house back. The flight back was a blur of recycled air and stale coffee. Stepping off the plane, the humid American air felt thick and strange. I drove straight to my street. The first thing I saw was a new wreath on the front door. Not mine. The flowers were a hideous plastic pink. I walked up the driveway, the crunch of gravel under my boots feeling foreign. The familiar curve of the porch railing. The chipped paint on the window frame. It was all there, but it wasn't mine anymore. My heart ached. I could almost hear the low hum of the air conditioner inside, the quiet of a house waiting for its owner. I fumbled for my key, but of course, it didn't fit. The new locks glinted in the afternoon sun. I rang the bell. Nothing. I knocked, a hollow sound echoing against the door. What a nightmare. Then I saw Carol. She was across the street, watering her prize-winning rose bushes, a wide, smug smile on her face. She saw me, her eyes widening slightly, but the smile never faltered. "Alex, honey," she called out, as if nothing had happened. "Oh, you're back. My goodness. Look at you." I stood on the sidewalk, my jaw tight. "Carol, I said, my voice low and dangerous. Where are my things? What have you done? Her smile soured. Oh, we had to sell your things, dear, to cover the legal fees. It's a shame, really, that you abandoned your property. Abandonment? Car drove past, the world moving on while mine had ground to a halt. The injustice was a physical weight on my shoulders. Carol, I repeated, my voice now a whisper. You have no idea what you've done. She laughed. A brittle, grating sound. You're a child. Alex, you should have paid the fine. The law is the law. And that's when my lawyer, Mark, pulled up. He got out of his car, holding a thick binder. Carol's eyes darted nervously between us. Actually, Carol, he said, his voice calm and professional. That's exactly what we're here to discuss. The law. The smugness on her face began to crack. It's a federal crime. You see, Mark continued, a smile playing on his lips. To illegally foreclose on the home of an active-duty military service member under the Service Members Civil Relief Act. A Class 3 felony. In fact, Carol's face went pale. The watering can slipped from her hand, splashing water on her shoes. That's when the 2 police cars pulled up, lights flashing silently. The officers got out and walked straight toward us. One of them had a folder, and he called out, Carol and Peterson? Her composure completely shattered. She stammered, I don't understand. The officer looked at her, then at the house. Ma'am, the sale of this property has been declared null and void. The deed was illegally transferred. Mark then laid out the final, glorious twist. And the couple who bought it? Your daughter and her husband. They've been served, too, as has your son-in-law's company, for conspiracy to defraud. Your consultant fee? It was a bribe, and the developer backed out, so there's no money. You gambled everything for a quick buck, and you lost. Carol's mouth fell open. The sound of her wail, a high-pitched, desperate cry, was the most satisfying thing I'd ever heard. It was the sound of a queen losing her crown, her kingdom, and her family, all in one fell swoop. The bitterest ending, the best justice. My house stood silent, a monument to a battle won without a single shot fired. I walked up the porch steps, the new keys in my hand. It was a heavy key, but it was mine. Felt like coming home.